Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. Today is the roads to, well, more of an interstate, I guess. It's the interstate to testing out a new format. We thought it would be better to test it in this slot rather than open up a new one for something that we weren't sure if you'd want. And then after the test run, we'll answer some questions from y'all. The concept behind this would be very similar to the Roads Not Taken, but it would focus on state-level news of national interest that often gets missed until it breaks into the national scene and surprises everyone. This would be a weekly series, and it would be hosted by another member of the team. In Alabama, there's a heated race for the state's recently redrawn 2nd Congressional District. This is a district that was redrawn after the Supreme Court agreed that the state had likely violated the rights of Black voters by diluting their voting power. The race will likely help determine which party has the majority in the House. Currently, it's leaning toward the Democratic Party, but Republicans seem convinced the district is winnable. Meanwhile, in Arizona, it's being reported that the Republican Party there plans on running a billboard campaign that says, "Eat less kittens, vote Republican." And yes, this is a reference to the debunked claims about Springfield. Some California farmers dealing with drought and climate change are starting to come to the conclusion that continued production of many nuts and fruits is unlikely to be sustainable, not just environmentally, but economically. They are instead turning their eyes to agave. Over time, this might increase the price of fruit and nuts in the U.S. or increase seasonal disruptions of some foods. In Delaware, State Senator Sarah McBride won the Democratic primary to be the candidate for Delaware's U.S. House of Representatives seat. That makes it very likely that she becomes the first openly trans member of Congress. McBride became the country's first trans state senator a few years ago. In Louisiana, Hurricane Francine made landfall at a Category 2. There are various storm watches and warnings extended from Louisiana through Mississippi and into Alabama. There are anticipated school closures throughout the areas, even into Alabama. One of Maine's representatives in the U.S. House, Representative Golden, reportedly planned to break with the Democratic Party and vote in favor of the Republican continuing resolution with the provision that makes it a non-starter in the Senate. The decision was the first known defection from the Democratic side of the aisle. After this, it was reported that Speaker Johnson would be pulling the continuing resolution with the additional provision. Michigan State Supreme Court has ruled that RFK Jr.'s name will remain on the ballot. This will likely help Harris in the swing state. In Missouri, Republicans made a last-ditch attempt to remove a ballot measure that would enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution. For a couple of days, it looked like it might work, but the Missouri State Supreme Court has ruled that the measure will be on the ballot on November 5th. North Carolina is reprinting ballots after the state Supreme Court ruled RFK Jr.'s name must come off the ballots. This will likely help Trump in the swing state. Also, in North Carolina, audio has reportedly been leaked of the Republican candidate for governor who has publicly supported the state's 12-week ban, saying he would like to get it down to 0. In Ohio, the false and bigoted comments of leading members of the Republican Party have left some members of the Haitian community fearing for their safety. Again, city officials in Springfield have said the comments about Haitians taking pets for food have no basis in anything they've had reported to them. The Tennessee Department of Health has confirmed the state's first case of measles since 2019. In Washington state, thousands of state employees walked off the job on Tuesday, demanding better conditions, pay, and schedules. now on to some questions from y'all. We don't know if this will be part of the regular series or not. Did Walz quote this channel? Oh, I saw that too, about the debate. Walz compared Trump to an old man yelling at the clouds. So that's a reference to Grandpa Simpson. He could just really like The Simpsons. Okay, so this question came in a bunch, and almost all of them were very nice. Some were just teasing, some were just curious for more information, some were from a time before the exception existed, some were wondering if it was a pun, and then there's this one. You dumb, there's a word here that starts with C. If you don't know what you're talking about, you need to just shut up. There's more words in that sentence. The Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, misspelled sergeant, is always the most senior enlisted Marine. Not generally, always. Your wishy-washy statements do you no good. Wrong no. Speak with confidence so people will believe you. Yeah, so about that, there's a person who is titled the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The position is filled by an appointment by the Joint Chiefs. Okay, the person filling that slot is the most senior enlisted person in any branch of the military. If a Marine is filling that position, they are the most senior enlisted Marine. So generally, the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is the most senior enlisted Marine, but not always. The position is currently held by a Marine who, up until August of last year, was the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. You should speak with less confidence. If you've never heard of this, it's because it's a newer position. It came around in early 2000s. Do you think the debate made any difference? It seemed to me like she really put it to him, but will it change minds? It depends how the Democrats are willing to talk about it on social media. So she did do very well. She exposed Trump's flaws, but the people who need to see it won't see it for a couple of days. They're not big-time news followers. So it's how much interaction it gets and how much it's just pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. So if they can keep the buzz going and pull in those people that don't normally follow politics and get them interested in looking at the debate, it may very well help. But we'll have to see. Okay, so that was a brief test run of the interstates. Let us know what you think. We still haven't decided if we're going to divide the news up into categories or just alphabetically by state or how, but we're open to suggestions. We think it would be useful to have the news from the state level before the giant outlets realize that it should be national news. Okay, so that looks like it. There's a little more information and a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. Y'all have a good day.